This year, a new law came into effect in Germany and it's generated quite a lot of debate. That's hardly surprising because it is a law that calls for the removal of certain types of content from social media. In other words, it's a censorship law. The idea of censoring speech is particularly controversial in the US, where freedom of speech is held to be absolutely sacrosanct. But this law has been criticized at home as well, and it has claimed its first innocent victim. The Twitter account of a famous German satirical magazine was suspended for a while after parodying hate speech. They got it back after it was determined that it was a parody and therefore not genuine hate speech, but it is still very worrying if the innocent have to go through an appeals process just to be able to exercise a basic human right. So, what exactly is this law? Like all German laws, it has a full title, a short title, and mercifully, an abbreviation, Netzdg. And the one thing that it does not do is to impose legal restrictions on free speech. It is designed to make it easier to enforce existing laws. Now, this is a short video, and I don't want to get into a discussion about whether or not free speech should be restricted. I want to look at Netzdg itself. So we're just going to have to take it as read that, for better or for worse, Germany does have restrictions on free speech and considers them necessary. Given that, the problem facing the authorities is this: how do you enforce those laws on the internet? A couple of years ago, concerns started to arise about the spread of fake news, stories circulating social media claiming to be fact, but actually either terribly misreported or even completely fabricated. And there were signs that public opinion was being swayed by them. But how can the German authorities prosecute some internet troll in America? The answer is they can't, but what they can do is to force social media networks to limit the damage. And that is what this law does. It imposes heavy fines on social media sites that fail to remove obviously illegal content. If they receive a complaint, they have 24 hours or more under certain circumstances to remove the offending material. It also says that the platform must take into account the context, because what is and isn't illegal very often depends on context. But that didn't stop this satirical magazine from having its Twitter account suspended. It should have done, but it didn't. So why did this happen? Well, critics of the law say that it puts private organisations in the position of having to make decisions that normally the German courts have to make. In other words, how is a business supposed to know what a judge might consider to be obviously illegal? And of course, legal teams being what they are, they will always err on the side of caution. If the law doesn't say exactly what is and isn't obviously illegal, they're going to delete the content rather than risk a massive fine. It doesn't help that in Germany these things are deliberately left vague because complex decisions like this are made on a case-by-case basis with the application of common sense. Which is fine, but it doesn't help a corporate lawyer predict the outcome of a hypothetical court case. And if social media companies are to comply fully with the law and investigate every complaint, taking into account the context and other mitigating factors, they're going to have to hire a whole lot more highly trained and experienced staff. You can't ask an intern to make legal decisions. So even many people who fully support Germany's hate speech laws and believe that they must be enforced on social media say that this isn't the way to do it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.